So this is day 3, or part 3 of the MX83 275 build. There's been a bit of confusion over my whole $14 crank seal thing. I keep saying it. I keep saying that all of this that we can see here is caused by a $14 crank seal. I think the issue is I'm talking about it on YouTube and then I'm actually posting about it more on my personal Facebook account. The whole deal behind the $14 crank seal was this motor was leaking. It first shit itself on Hoffman's dyno like 18 months ago, nearly 2 years ago. Spat everywhere. Last time I was there at his shop, there was still a line oil in line with where my crank pulley was. Like it just went straight up the wall, across the roof, dyno cell, computer, shit everywhere. It was a mess. It was quite an experience. I ended up putting another seal in it that day. The seal that I put in, it lasted a really long time. Long story short, I kept shitting them. They just kept getting pushed out, pushed out, pushed out. Now, the whole way that this became a ridiculously expensive oil seal was because I knew the problem was in the oil pump and I was just trying my best to avoid doing the oil pump. To do the oil pump, you have to take the sump off. To take the sump off, you have to take the motor out. There was a few issues that we were having behind the engine, like the converter was a little bit too loose. So, all right, well, if we're pulling the motor out, we'll pull the converter out and we'll go and send it off to get tight. And we did that, and then, yeah, that's how it spiraled out of control. So far, that's how deep I am into a $14 oil seal. That. I just wanted to change one crank seal, now I don't have an engine. In other news though, I have a complete 2J again. Equipped with a nice fancy burst panel, better than these Bosch Dynamic burst panels that I've been using. Look at my nice fruity timing belt there. I was pulling out the rest of the stuff the other day, getting ready to repaint. It's just years worth of schmutz in there. A little crap from the engine bay, my wiring and stuff like that. For those of you who want to know about the setup inside this car, it runs a M-Tron KV12 ECU, Motec E888, PDM, dash, keypad, so it's actually got a pretty advanced EFI system in it. None of that'll come out, that'll all stay, it's all behind the glove box. I haven't actually been having any issues with that side of things, so that'll be alright. Next step from here is we're going to paint the engine bay this weekend. If that all goes well, which I don't see any reason why it wouldn't, we'll put that motor back in. I got an SFI flex plate to go on the back of it. There's only so long you can get away with running a standard flex plate. We were pretty lucky to run it for as long as we did like that. The entire hot side's off getting ceramic coated at the moment. That'll be back hopefully in the next couple of days. As soon as that gets back and the motor's back in, we can start reassembling the hot side, put all the wires back in. The wiring side of it's all pretty good. I want to change one power cable. With like compared to the rest of this car, changing one power cable is going to take all of about 15 minutes, I'd say. Let's see how it goes. That's how terribly I painted this engine bay last time. When you can rub half the paint off with nothing more than degreaser and a little tiny bit of scouring brush. So we got the engine back in. The engine bay's all nice and painted, thanks to Lane coming down here and giving me a hand with it. So I'm about to go and put all the wiring and stuff back in. I'll have the headlights and the whole front end back on the car, probably chuck the bonnet and stuff back on. Now I've got a handbrake cable. That was a interesting experience. There'll be a guy coming out at some point during the week to do up my rear brake lines from the 9-inch to the actual factory Cressida hardline. He does some pretty good work. Probably spend the rest of the day chipping away at this, getting the rest of it done and all the wiring back in. I'll get probably everything on the cold side will be back together, just be waiting for the hot side. I've now put the flex plate on it, still waiting on my converter and the transmission. So as soon as they arrive, they can go back in and we can have a tail shaft made and hopefully I'll have enough money to go and buy a diff center by then. My house space is west, so it's actually really difficult to work in this thing at this time of the afternoon, which is pretty unfortunate. I feel like this list on the back of my back window isn't getting any smaller. I think I just keep adding stuff to it. Oh, join me next week for part 4. Remember to hit subscribe.